In SpongeBob, this image was taken from a split-second frame from a corrupted bootleg of the SpongeBob episode called Dumped. Other than the image, the rest of the video is compromised and uncomprehensible jumbles of colors, static, or just black screens. The audio seems to be heavily distorted, and the audio from the original episode, with loud drowning buzzes occasionally interrupting it. The bootleg tape itself was found by a group of 5 urban explorer teenagers in a trash can with the abandoned mental institution. One of these 5 individuals, 2 have died and 1 has gone missing. 1 refused to comment about the tape, and the last one hesitated to agree to paranormal investigators the tape shortly after reviewing about the death and disappearances of 3 other people. The current whereabouts of the tape are unknown, and many who stare at this image for a long time period have claimed to see and watch SpongeBob blink. Now, if the teenager has gone missing, was found dead in the dustbin a year later, after the discovery of the tape. And that, my little pretties, was SpongeBob Bootleg Tape, a SpongeBob Lost Episode creepypasta. My final thoughts on this story. I'm definitely got a lot of words to say about this one. I've got like a whole bunch of words to sit there and say about this story, so I'm gonna go ahead and, give out my, explanation about this story. So, what I could definitely say that I really did like about this story was the fact that it was, believable. In a sense, I can definitely say right here and right now that this was actually very believable. Now this is like a classic creepypasta. So, like, this creepypasta was written, I'm not this is actually one of the oldest creepypastas, way before, it actually, before creepypastas became cliched. And I think when this pasta was made, I believe it was made sometime maybe in the maybe in 2010 or something. I'm not really sure. I'm going for the comments to see when it was first made, because I kind of remember sitting there and, narrated this back in 2019, and I couldn't honestly remember, but, with that being the case, I decided to go out of my way and, narrate this because, it's been a while since I last sat there and did it, so I'm gonna sit there and basically explain about this story. So, of course, this story was actually a pretty freaky one. Like, I think I've seen, a couple narrations of this story, and this story was actually one of those stories that I kind of remembered, seeing. I kind of remembered, seeing this creepypasta read on some other channels, and, I could definitely say that, you know, this story was actually pretty interesting and well made. Like, I could definitely say this one was a pretty interesting story for what it is. It had a great concept to it. And I could definitely say that even though it was a short pasta, it still was pretty well made in detail. Like, when I first saw this pasta, on Wiki, I was kind of curious as to, I want to take a look at this story. So I went ahead and narrated this, and I actually found it to be, oh my goodness, it was just really good. So I definitely have to say that I do like how the story went out of the mind. So I could definitely say that this story was actually, oh my goodness, this one was actually pretty well made. So I'm definitely freaking out right now. Like, not freaking out like, no, not any of that. I'm just freaking out. Well, I was freaking out, when I first saw this episode because it's actually believable, well made in detail, and it's just really well made. Although I could definitely say it was a little cliched, but I definitely have to say that the story actually played a lot of great potential with it, and it actually played out really well made with this story. Now, the story itself was actually really well made in detail. It actually played a pretty good part of it. I think this was made in 2015 or something. Maybe in 2014. Maybe this one was made around there. I can't remember. But this story was actually really well made in detail. It actually played out a good concept. I definitely have to say, this story was obviously really well made in detail. It actually played a really good part in the story. So I could definitely say that this story actually was believable. So I definitely am guessing this was written maybe in 2015 or 2014. I really don't know. So it's most likely that, well, this episode would basically I think this episode was made sometime in 2014 or 2015. It's actually a pretty well made creepypasta. Now, I definitely have to say that this story actually was even though it was short, it's still a pretty good pasta. Like, it's still a really good pasta even though, it was short. Well, I could say, if I were to make this story better, I would definitely say that, this story would be well, I would say if I were to make this story better, I would definitely sit there and maybe have the story be just a little longer, maybe have a better more backstory or something. That's just me though, but I really am not sure. But with that being the case and with that being said, I'm definitely going to sit here and say this. This one was interesting, but I definitely have to say that this story was actually pretty interesting for what it was. It was actually could have been better, but yeah, anyway, this is a good creepypasta. It's a classic one, so I'm definitely going to say that right now that this one was actually a pretty good creepypasta for what it is. It's actually really well made in detail. There was definitely a lot of time and effort into this story. So that's definitely one of the reasons why I actually found this story to be rather enjoyable, to say the least. Now, I could definitely say that right now that this story was actually interesting and well made. It actually had a pretty good storyline with this. Now, I know this is a short pasta, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the review. Now, I'm gonna sit there and say this right now, and like I always continue to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion. If you happen to disagree with me, that is fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story, I'm gonna give this one a 10 out of 10. It's a great classic creepypasta. It was very well made in detail. It actually played out well. I definitely have to say that this story was actually very well awesome made and pretty damn well made. It's a pretty good pasta. It was very enjoyable. Even though it was short, I still found the story to be rather amazing. So, anyways, with that being the case, and with that being said, what did you guys think about this pasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me now with your thoughts down in the comments section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode, and if you happen to be brand new here on this channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so that you guys will not miss an upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm